How does the European Commission help EuroGEO unite European EO expertise and support the global geo agenda?
We don't only take commitments on the world stage, we don't only make the pledges, but we also try to be part of the leadership. And this is why, for instance, we co-chair the executive committee of the GEO group on Earth observations, which will be 20 years old next year. And of course, Europe has paid a huge contribution and continues to do so, is getting stronger in fact, and we want to acknowledge that. So you do it via making sure that the governance is solid, you are proactive in the governance, but you also want to show it that you take on the responsibility and the world stage as well.
How do DG JRC and DG DEFIS connect national geo efforts with international goals through EuroGEO?
I think it's important to stress that the kind of international cooperation and international uptake has always been a fundamental part of the Copernicus program since its inception. There's been a lot of efforts in establishing bilateral contacts, but also in engaging in multilateral frameworks in CEOS and GEO.
How does EuroGEO sustain its initiatives while meeting the geo communities and Europe's changing EO needs?
In our duty in this project, we have also to propose some ideas for the sustainability of EuroGEO on the long run. Not only the Secretariat, but also the initiative. My feeling and my understanding of the situation is we have different changes in the landscape. In Copernicus, with the end of the framework partnership agreement for user uptake and the F pickup, there is Destiny, which is growing also. And I think EuroGEO can play a role in terms of innovation, in terms of downstream services, because we experimented, because we have some ideas and we have the link with the community through the action group that can help us to extract the challenge and the gap for the different thematic area and to push activity on this. Not only with the support of the Commission, not only with the support of national government, but at the end of the day with the support of all the EU ecosystem, including the industry, to really develop services, operational services.
How does the Commission's focus on research and innovation ensure the long-term success of the EuroGEO Secretariat?
So, if you want to have a very good and robust governance and proactive one, we have to make sure that in practice, you have Secretariat that not only works, but is also seen to be really the pillar of strength behind the group at EuroGEO community. Under the Horizon Europe program, thankfully, we have a number of instruments that are innovative and that are flexible enough to adapt themselves, to actually sustain and be a real pillar of strength behind, for instance, the Secretariat. Last year, we launched this coordination and support action, which is financed via the Horizon Europe program, which is there to actually do this job that I have just mentioned. And of course, we stand ready now to analyze this after, the time elapses, for this project to be over, if you like, the support action, to actually run its course. We analyze how it went, we evaluate it, we see, in what ways it has helped, in what ways it can be improved. And we look forward, obviously, to, again, engage if this kind of action may be spiced up with some other type of help and support that the group needs going forward. Because obviously we want to make it foolproof also for the future. Why? Because we believe that the sustainability of the EuroGEO really is at the core of having a community that is not only hopeful in desire and in ambition, but is also being actually held up by support, for that activity to keep going and for the cash and the contributions in kind to be resourced.
How do DG DEFIS and DG JRC collaborate to drive EuroGEO's progress?
We make these assessments at the level of EU policy in the context of the work of the Knowledge Centre, but it's obvious then that the uptake and the implementation in particular happens often at the level of the member states. And so what we need here are mechanisms to understand exactly how member state implementation is looking at these needs and requirements at the level of the policy itself, at the EU level, and implementing it. And this requires us to be able to work together with entities that are looking at uptake at the national level, especially because sometimes this also is not just national, but also trickles down to regional and local levels. If we think, for example, of legislation that has implications for cities or things like this, where reporting has to be done really at the level of large municipalities. So that is really key, is this link between, yes, we can make the policy assessments at the level of the EU through our colleagues in the policy DGs, but we need to also think about what the implications are for implementation of the member state.
What would you like the public to know about EuroGEO's mission and impact?
The main message is we need all the European EU community on board. We need all of us around the table working together to develop something useful for everybody. We try to really build a one EuroGEO community, and the idea is really to have everybody on board.